Alright, good morning. Welcome to another exciting edition of Math with Mr. Trimpy. What we're going to talk about today is we're just going to kind of introduce exponents and some vocab terms that go along with it. We're going to wrap up a little bit on combining like terms. So make sure you have your vocab sheet there, and we're going to go through and kind of fill some of these in. You'll have a couple problems to do at the end, but nothing too terrible. So let's take a look here. Let's just refresh our memory on combining like terms. Remember, in algebra, a term is a single variable or number. So we can fill in here variable or number, or numbers and variables multiplied together. Alright, and they are separated by plus signs or minus signs. So in your example down here, you can see how many terms do you have? Well, you have one term, you have two term, a third, a fourth, and a fifth. So in your example, you have 5 terms. And again, if we wanted to try and combine them, you would have to look at the exponents here. You can see here we have an x to the fourth. Well, there are no other x to the fourth, so we can't combine them with anything else. So that's kind of already simplified, all right? But now what we're going to do is we're going to change gears, okay? The big thing here is that combining like terms, you always have plus or minus signs separating something. When we look at expressions with exponents, everything's going to be multiplied or divided. So now, let's take a look at just some basic exponents and just kind of get some definitions down here. So when I look at this expression over here, the 6, we know that is our exponent. And the number that is actually being raised to the exponent, that is what we call our base. So that's the number being raised to the exponent. And then some names for this that you might hear, we'll go over a few others, but you might just call this a power when you see the whole thing. Oops. A power there. So you have 4 to the 6th power. Now, the very important thing that we're going to talk about is this whole idea right here. Is what we call this is expanded form. And you're going to learn to use expanded form a lot. That's how we really solve a lot of our problems, is we take a look at, okay, let's take a look at what the exponent tells us, and let's expand everything out. So that expanded form is really going to come into play here in the future. Okay, so now let's go ahead, let's hop down, let's take a look now at just some of our definitions before we get into some of our problems here. So the base is the number and I'm even going to say or variable that is being raised to an exponent. Alright, it's that kind of number underneath. That's your base. The exponent of the number says how many times to use that number in multiplication. Other names for the exponent, again, we kind of talked about this already, is when you call it, you might call it like the index, or you could even see it used as the power as well, but just kind of know that we'll always refer to it as just kind of our exponent. Now, the exponential form is the form of the number that is written with a number and an exponent. And again, our example from above, so you can just kind of draw an arrow up there, is read 4 to the 6th power. Okay, you would say, I don't know, if we were to look at this guy, that would be read as 2 to the 7th power. Okay? And then the last thing that we want to focus on is expanded form. Is the form of a number written out as a multiplication string. And again, that is going to be key. Expanding things out into a multiplication string. That's what we're going to take a look at as we keep going on for further. Alright, so now let's hop over and take a look down at the bottom here. And we have a couple different scenarios. First scenario is you just practice and write each of these out in expanded form. Okay? What I want you to do is go ahead and try and write these out in expanded form. Pause the video and check your answers. Then go ahead and kind of write these in exponential form. See if you can do that. Pause the video and then check your answers. And then go ahead and do the write these in standard form. Now I'll give you a little hint here. Standard form is the actual number. So for instance, 3 squared equals 9. That would be standard form. Okay? So just a little something to keep in mind when you go through there. So go ahead and try the 4 at the top, write it into an expanded form, and then go ahead and check your answers. Alright, welcome back. Just to check your answers here, 3 to the 4th, you should have 4 3s. Negative 8 squared, you should have 2 negative 8s. X to the 4th would just be 4 x's multiplied together, and y to the 3rd would be 3 y's multiplied together. The next one, write each of these in exponential form. Here you got to count up how many you have. So I have 6 3's, so it would be 3 to the 6th. Here I have 5 7's, so it would be 7 to the 5th. Down here I have 4 negative 5's. Now this is key. You need to have the negative 5 in parentheses, because that's what you're multiplying together there. Over here, we have negative 1 times 4 to the 3rd. Now, laws of exponents tells us that you do the exponent first. So I could write this as negative 4 to the 3rd without any parentheses, because it's going to tell me, hey, do this first, then multiply by negative 1. So either way would work there. This is different though than this problem, because this problem, negative 5 is what's being raised to the 4th. Over here, it's not negative 4, it's 4, and it's just multiplied by negative 1 on the end. Alright, go ahead and try the next ones. Welcome back. Let's take a look here. Standard form is what is actually 3 to the 6th. 3 to the 6th is actually 700. Oh. And 29. 7 to the 5th is actually 16,807. And negative 5 to the 4th is actually 625. And your last one, negative 4 times 4 times 4 is actually negative 64. So again, there's a big breakdown, a lot of vocab thrown out there. Just make sure you understand that. And you can go ahead and move on to the second thing in your station here. Again, make sure you got all the notes down. Go back and make sure you understand everything. And have a good day.